Hi.
Cancelled.
For what?
Too female.
I can't help that.
You can. Read the story like you are a divorced man called Philip.
I beg your pardon?
Add a sigh before every sentence. And call the monster Buddy.
No. It was supposed to be a fun date night. That's all. The ad called it a unique couples escape room. But that was before I found out the room knew our secrets. The ad promised to test our bond, sure. But it didn't say it would try and sever it. It didn't say it would punish us for lying. And it definitely didn't mention the final puzzle. Look, Sarah and I didn't have a fairy tale romance, but it was ours. We were good. Most of the time. We'd just come out of one of those quiet, week-long fights where the silence is somehow louder than the shouting. You know the kind. You forget what started it, but you can't forget the tension. So, when I saw the ad, it felt like a sign. A way to hit the reset button. A challenge we could tackle together to remind us we were still a team. The place was in a part of town that was trying way too hard to be trendy. It was wedged between a vape shop and an artisan salt boutique. The lobby was sterile and white, with a faint smell of ozone and lavender. A host with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes took our coats. We signed the standard waiver on the tablet. I didn't read it. Who does? And he led us to a heavy, soundproof door. The rules are simple, he said, his voice a practiced, smooth monotone. Solve the puzzles to unlock the path forward. You have 1 hour. Inside, you'll find the questions designed to celebrate your journey as a couple. Your answers guide you. He paused, his eyes lingering on us for just a second too long. But be authentic. The room values honesty. We just smiled, thinking he was piling on the theatrics, a quirky rule to make the game more immersive. We were still laughing about it when the heavy door clicked shut behind us. The sound echoed with a finality that should have been my first clue. The first room was charming. Designed like a cozy, idealised first apartment, mismatched furniture, framed photos of generic smiling couples, and a small digital screen in the middle of it all. The first puzzle was easy, a fun little trip down memory lane. The screen lit up. Where was your first real date? It was the Italian place. Bertolli's, Sarah said instantly, her eyes lighting up at the memory. I typed it in. A pleasant chime rang out. A small drawer popped open from the wall, revealing a brass key. We were good at this. We were a team again. The next few puzzles were just like it. Our first vacation, her childhood pet's name, the movie we saw on our 3rd anniversary. Every correct answer gave us a key. Another code, another small victory that stitched the frayed edges of our bad week back together. We were laughing, working in sync. It was the perfect date night. Then, the screen flickered. The mood shifted. The room seemed to dim, just a fraction. The new question wasn't about a shared memory. It was about mine. What was the real reason you worked late last Thursday? My blood ran cold. Sarah looked at me, her smile faltering. Last Thursday wasn't just a quiet fight, it was the explosive start of it. I told her I was stuck at the office on a deadline. The truth. I was at a bar with college buddies, blowing off steam and complaining about the heap of steaming crap I'd got myself into. What kind of question is that? Sarah asked, her voice tight. It's a game, Liam, just put the work thing. I hesitated. My fingers hovered over the keypad. The host's words echoed in my head. The game values honesty. I wasn't sure I valued honesty. I typed, "finishing a project." The screen flashed red. A low guttural groan vibrated through the floor, a deep metallic sound like a ship's hull straining under pressure. We both looked at the walls. They were closer, maybe by an inch, 2 at most, but they had moved. My heart hammered against my ribs. "Did you see that?" Sarah whispered, her hands gripping my arm. I couldn't speak. The screen flashed again, this time with a new message in stark white letters. "Lies are punished. Honesty slows the room." And beneath it, the same question as before, blinking like a patient, predatory eye. Right then, I knew this wasn't the game I wanted to play. My hands were shaking as I typed in the truth. I really couldn't be bothered with the argument this was going to cause later, but I wanted to get out of here. Drinks with college friends. I didn't dare look at Sarah. I just stared at the screen, bracing myself, but instead of another lurch, a soft green light pulsed, and that same pleasant chime filled the room. A new door, one we hadn't noticed before, clicked open. Sarah didn't say a word. I could tell she was pissed off. She just walked through the doorway. I followed her into the next room, the space between us now a frigid, gaping canyon. This new room was the complete opposite of the first. It was cold, metallic, and circular. No charming decorations here, just a single bench and another larger screen covering the entire wall. The air was heavy and recycled. The lavender smell was gone, replaced by something acrid like burnt wires. The screen lit up, washing Sarah's face in a harsh white glow. She looked pale, tense. "Liam, have you ever considered leaving her?" I didn't hesitate. I typed no. The screen flashed red. The sound that followed wasn't mechanical, it was deeper, like something shifting under strain. Sarah turned to me slowly. "Liam? What?" I said too quickly. "No, I haven't, I swear." The screen flashed again. New text appeared. "Not Sarah." The room felt smaller. "I don't understand," Sarah whispered. I nodded, swallowing hard. "Me neither." That was a lie. Because suddenly, painfully, I understood exactly what it meant. A timer appeared beneath the question. It started at 60 seconds. The screen pulsed, waiting. I didn't move. I could feel Sarah's eyes on me, searching my face for something I wasn't going to give her. "Liam," she said quietly. Just answer it." The walls creaked. Not the violent shriek from before, something slower, patient, like the room was leaning in. I knew what it wanted. I knew what would happen if I didn't give it another answer, but there was no way I was telling her about Jessica. The timer ticked down. 50. 49. "Liam, please," Sarah whispered. "Whatever it is, we can deal with it." I kept my hands at my sides. If I touched that keypad, I'd break. 30 seconds. The wall behind Sarah shuddered, then slid forward a fraction. Not enough for her to notice, but enough for me. I met her eyes and forced my voice to stay steady. "It's wrong," I said. "This isn't how it's supposed to work." That was true. It just wasn't the truth the room wanted. "This is insane," she whispered, more to the room than me. The unspoken answer hung in the air between us, thick and suffocating. The punishment was immediate and violent, a screech of tearing metal. The circular wall wasn't one solid piece. It looked like it was made of concentric rings. The outermost one slid inward with terrifying speed, stopping with a deafening bang not 5 feet from us. The room shrank by a third in a single instant, The floor vibrated. The air pressure popped in my ears. Sarah screamed, stumbling back into the new, closer wall. Pure primal panic was written all over her face. The screen was blood red again, the words burning in the dark. The truth is required. "Fucking hell, Liam, just answer the thing," she screamed. 24 seconds. Her breath came in ragged, broken gasps, her eyes locking onto mine, wide, pleading, terrified. I stared at the screen. If I answered this, there would be no stopping it. One answer would lead to another, then another. There were things I hadn't said out loud, things I hadn't even admitted to myself. And once they were out, she would never let them go. 13 seconds. I finally moved. My hands felt stiff as I typed yes into the screen. Sarah stared at me. "So, you have thought about leaving me then?" she said, quietly staring at the pause timer on the screen. Her eyes never meeting mine. I took a deep breath, but before I had time to answer, the timer disappeared and was replaced by the original text. "Not Sarah." She blinked, and she looked back at me. "What does that mean?" she asked. "What does not Sarah mean, Liam? Who are you going to leave?" I didn't answer. The screen flashed green. There was a soft chime, calm, polite again. A panel slid open in the wall, revealing the next question. That's when I understood something important. The room didn't reward honesty. It just accepted it as payment to keep going. The space the wall had taken didn't come back. It was gone for good. "This isn't fun anymore," Sarah said, her voice shaking. "I want to get out." She turned back, heading for the door, but it was gone. We scanned the room, hoping we'd missed something. Maybe we got turned around with all the movement from the walls, but there was nothing. No door, no handle. There wasn't even a seam, just smooth walls, closing in around us. That's when I knew this wasn't a game at all. The panel pinged violently behind us, loud enough to make us jump. It dragged our attention back to the screen, new text flashing up. Another question. And before either of us could react, the timer appeared underneath it. It was already counting down. 26. 25. The number dropped fast. We'd already wasted time we didn't remember losing. Sarah grabbed my arm. "Liam," she said, "it's already started." I stared at the screen. My mind went blank. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. The room wasn't waiting anymore. It was rushing us. The screen shifted again. The question changed. I didn't read it out loud. I didn't need to. It was already clear who it was for. Sarah followed my eyes to the panel, and I watched her face tighten as she read it. She shook her head straight away. "No," she said. "No, that's not fair." The timer kept ticking. 22. 21. "What's it asking?" she said, even though she already knew. I didn't answer. She looked at me then, properly looked at me, like she was trying to decide whether she trusted me or the room more. "It's lying," she said. "You know it's lying, right?" The number kept falling. 18. 17. The wall behind her let out a low creak. Just a warning this time. Just enough to remind us what hesitation costs. Sarah swallowed hard. The words were still there, bright and sharp. She shook her head slowly. The wall behind her groaned again. Not a warning this time. A promise. The timer dropped to 10. And 9. She laughed once, a short, broken sound. "That's insane," she said. "Why would it even ask that?" She looked at me again. I didn't say anything. The timer hit 6. 5. Her hands were shaking so badly she had to steady them against the panel. She swallowed hard. "I was going to tell you," she said. I didn't know how." 4. The walls crept closer. 3. I stared at the bright text on the screen. Were you going to tell Liam you stopped taking birth control? She hesitated. 2. Then she typed. No. The walls halted. Everything went still. Sarah let out a shaky breath. That was more than an inch this time, she said, looking around. I didn't say anything. She already knew I didn't want kids. I'd been clear about that from the start. I worked away too much. I wasn't ready. She knew all of this. And she was going to force this on me. The betrayal cut through me like a knife. He had no right to. I get that. But pain is pain regardless of the hypocrisy. There wasn't much space left. Not enough to pace. Not enough to turn away from each other. Sarah swallowed and spoke quietly. We can talk about everything later, but I don't think we have space to mess around anymore. I don't think this is a game. No shit, I said bluntly. Whatever comes out, we'll deal with it later, she said. If we're going to get out of this, we need to answer fast, and we tell the truth. I nodded slowly. I didn't argue. There wasn't anything left to argue with. At that point, we both knew the same thing. If we hesitated again, the room wouldn't wait for us. And if we lied again, it wouldn't give us another chance. The questions grew more and more cruel, a systematic deconstruction of our relationship, targeting every insecurity, every hidden resentment, every secret compromise. Sarah, are you angry Liam won't add you as a friend on Facebook? I saw her hesitate, the flicker of doubt in her eyes. This was the core of hundreds of arguments. I held my breath. She typed, yes. Green light. The walls stayed put. Liam, do you worry Sarah will grow suspicious of your demanding job? My heart kicked into my chest. I didn't even pause. I typed yes before my brain could catch up and start planning excuses for later. The questions came faster after that. Back and forth. No breathing room. Honesty was its own punishment. Every answer felt like another brick ripped out of whatever we'd built together. We were surviving by tearing ourselves apart. We stopped looking at each other. We only talked through the screen. By then, we weren't a couple anymore. We were two people in a desperate, transactional relationship with the thing watching us. The questions didn't stop. They got narrower, meaner. Liam, will you ever let Sarah visit your home? I typed no. This was another core argument starter. I told her I wasn't ready to move in. Her place was always more convenient than mine. That's what I told her. Sarah, have you ever looked through Liam's phone when he wasn't around? She typed no. Green light. Green light. No reward, just permission to keep going. With every truth the room spared us, physically, mentally, it was destroying us. It felt like being peeled apart layer by layer until there was nothing left but two strangers standing too close together. The room felt alive by then, like it was breathing, like it was feeding on what we gave it. Someone was. The walls kept creeping in slowly, relentlessly. They didn't need lies anymore. Every hesitation cost us space. Every half-truth cost us more. By the end, the circular room was barely a room at all. It was a narrow tube, and the screen was still waiting. The room went quiet. Then the floor shuddered. A clear wall rose up between us, straight out of the ground, too fast to stop. It sealed with a dull thud. We were not only separated mentally, but now we were separated physically. The floor beneath both of us dropped a few inches, slamming Sarah to the floor. I pounded the barrier. It was solid glass. Water pooled at my feet, seeping in from all sides. Sarah slapped at the glass, slipping as she attempted to get to her feet. Liam, what's happening? The water climbed past our ankles, then our knees. I don't know, I stammered. The screen in front of us went dark. For a moment, the room was pitch black. The only sound was the steady trickle of water and Sarah's muffled sobbing. Then it flashed back to life, but there was no more text. A voice filled the room instead. Low, flat, mechanical. Final round, it said. The water kept rising. Would you leave Sarah to save your family? Sarah frowned. Family? What family? The water hit my hips. I remember thinking if I just told the truth, it would stop and then I could make some bullshit excuse up later. I didn't look at Sarah. I couldn't. Yes, I said. The water on my side stopped instantly. Sarah stared at me. What the fuck? She shouted. Your mum's dead. What family? The water on her side kept climbing. Liam, look at me. She was furious. The voice returned. Sarah, who is Jessica? She shook her head. I don't know, she said, exacerbated. She's your ex? Your friend? I don't know. The screen flashed red. The water surged higher, faster this time. It splashed up against her chest. She gasped and banged on the glass again. Please, Liam, she said, just tell me. I don't know what it wants. The voice didn't ask again. This wasn't her question. It was mine. If I told her, I'd lose more than just her. If I stayed quiet, she'd drown. The water reached her shoulders, then her neck. She pressed her forehead against the glass, eyes wide, breath shaking. Please, she said. Please just tell me, and we can work through this. I opened my mouth, and I didn't say anything. I couldn't watch. I turned away from the glass. I heard her voice one last time, and then I didn't. The room went dark again. I felt the freezing water drain away from my side of the tank. It pulled at my legs as it went, like it didn't want to let go. Cracks of light appeared in front of me, thin at first, then wider. I heard a seal release. A door swung open above me. A door swung open in front of me, and I dropped forward into the light. I hit the floor hard. My head bounced and everything blurred. As I faded out, I saw someone step into view. A pair of red trainers walking towards me. I haven't told anyone about that night. No one's asked me about Sarah's disappearance, and they won't. No one knew we were together. I feel guilty. I really do. But at the same time, I'm relieved. Relieved that I didn't lose everything. I've always lived a closed-off life. Kept things separate. Kept people where I needed them. So it wasn't that hard keeping a girlfriend a secret. Even from a wife. Even from my kids. You're probably asking yourself why I'm telling you all of this. It isn't guilt, it's fear. You see, those trainers, the red ones I saw just before I blacked out, I know why I remember them so vividly. Because I bought them. And I can see them right now. Right now as I'm watching Jessica stand in the kitchen packing the kids' lunches. I might have hidden my wife from a girlfriend, but I don't think I ever hid my girlfriend from my wife.
Hi everyone.
Warning. The used content
It's not reused. I just said that line like 100 times.
You reused your own voice.
That doesn't count.
I don't make the rules. I just ruin your life.
Well, stop.